Hey, happy Tuesday. We are back again for another podcast. And, I have to say, I actually really like, I know not everybody does, but I actually really like that we went to one podcast a week. And we kind of get to gather up the news and all the car debates, and we get to just do everything at once. It's very, very cool. I'm actually really excited about it. We've got all of the above for this podcast, so thank you guys for being with us. As always, we are just now starting edit for our Monster Europe trip this year.
By we, Todd means him and Chance.
Yes, that is the we.
I'm very grateful for that, but you're fast and you're good at it,
and you're handling podcast. You handle all the podcast posts. So I mean, there's division labor here. Yeah, but we're just now beginning that. We're already talking about what's the big trip we're doing next year. Which
it's so exciting.
Yes, I hope
Ideas
so.
are
I hope so.
And we haven't even put these videos out yet. Yes.
Yeah. Keep in mind also we have our Utah meetup coming up, which sold out in like seconds. I can't even believe it. Oh, and also we haven't gone on pilgrimage yet. That's a few weeks away. There's still stuff from this year.
Yes.
But I want to make it clear to those of you watching and listening. I want to put it out there already. We are going to keep trying to stay with our current cadence, which is 2 U.S.-based trips, 1 European trip. We may add something to that equation, but the plan right now is we'll be somewhere else in the U.S. other than our backyard next year. Mm-hmm. We will do Beartooth, and we will do the Ring and Spa, the pilgrimage trip.
It's exciting.
There may be something else. We really are trying to do a big road trip film every year. We're thinking about next year's production while I'm starting to edit this year's production. That's how crazy we are.
We're so excited to share all of these with you, not just in video format. Keep an eye on our announcements. Keep an eye on when registrations go live, because we want you on some of these trips. We want to share this. We don't want to just create the films and have you watch, which we do, and we appreciate you watching, and that is vital for us and our sponsors. But we also want you to consider, hey, in the back of your mind, if you've never gone on pilgrimage with us, if you've never done a Utah adventure or even a larger trip with us, we'd love to have you come. So you're all cordially invited.
You ready to jump into news? Fakery news?
Fakery news from Mercedes-AMG. The new CLA45 4MATIC EV has been announced.
Not coming to the U.S., but this announcement, it kind of makes my blood run cold.
I'm wondering if they might reconsider, because the CLA45 did come to the U.S. It hasn't been the friendliest of markets for EVs in general, or EV sedans. It has done okay, but I'm wondering if they still reconsider and think, you know what, we should try it. And we should still bring this here.
Maybe.
The headlines are 3 axial flux motors delivering 680 horsepower for peak power, fully variable all-wheel drive, adaptive suspension, active aerodynamics, AMG ride control, AMG Force S+, which is combustion engine emotion at the touch of a finger. It's the driving modes that deliver an authentic AMG typical combustion engine experience with a characteristic sound of high-performance AMG 4-cylinder engine coupled with haptic, which you love.
I love it.
Immersive experience, including interruption of traction during simulated gear changes. The result is a driving experience, according to Mercedes-AMG, that makes performance intensely tangible.
Let me know when I can start to rant. Let me know.
Fakery. I'm so fascinated by this car being introduced and shown on a track.
Agreed.
The CLA45, the GLA45 have always, and pretty much every AMG product has always been track focused. There's always a track mode, and you think,
track worthy.
My GLS 63, should I take that on the track? Because it's like 7 million pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I wonder if it'll burn up my tires and my rotors.
It will, but it'll still be great. Yeah.
Your personal racing coach, the AMG Dynamic Plus package, transforms every journey into an immediate performance experience. Push your limits lap after lap. Over 400 miles of range, 670 or 640 kilometers of range. So they claim equivalent distance between Berlin and Vienna. And this AMG Force simulated engine and gearbox replicates the sound and power of the older 45 models, vibrating motors inside the front seats to mimic the gas engine rumble. And finally, the sound can be heard inside and outside, complete with pops, crackles, and bangs. Now you can.
Okay, I feel like the angry version of Mr. Rogers right now. I'm taking off my sweater, I'm putting on my slippers. Rant incoming.
Here's the shooting brake version of this,
which looks great.
I want to show you the interior. So, despite
lot of screen,
Mercedes claim that giant screens do not denote luxury, they continue on with giant screens in the interior.
Door-to-door screen.
I'm amazed they're continuing down this road, but I guess this is the thing that they've established. The interior actually looks quite great. It looks pretty interesting, and
Yeah, it does.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff to look at, but they continue with clean, simple themes. I don't know that the exterior styling is really progressive necessarily for next generation.
No, it's
kind of where we're at right now, so it seems barely evolutionary.
Yes,
But nice.
I think that's a good description.
I do like it.
Well,
and 460 miles of range, lots of performance. It's a track-focused car. Fakery based on the mechanical stuff that we all love, that enthusiasts love.
Yes.
On a track.
Yes.
So they're simulating almost everything that is the cool part about mechanical cars.
There's so much here. There's
Serving
so
up the pizza.
much here. Okay. First, let me go down the positive side here. Mercedes made a bunch of EQ models that was their first round of EVs, and the market yawned. Okay.
Correct.
We drove a few, and they were worth yawning. They were not interesting. It didn't denote necessarily luxury or specialness, and it was just, here's Mercedes with a bunch of screens in their EV models, and they didn't sell well, and Mercedes has been correcting ever since. I will also acknowledge that EVs are selling well everywhere but the U.S.
True.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, because if you look at the actual numbers, it's not like they're overwhelming. The percentage of the total cars being sold every year of EVs is going up everywhere but here. Okay?
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's still like 10, 12, 15% of the market. To chase your market to figure it out, I mean, China, it's much more than that. It's still the small part of the market, but it is a growing part of the market, and it's not going away.
For sure.
EVs are not going away.
For sure.
There's many things great about them.
So you're saying Mercedes is right to introduce a model like this based on stats and numbers. And,
the fact that they're continuing
data.
to make EVs makes sense.
Of course. Yes.
Versus just like fully pivoting and going, okay, no more EVs. You didn't like our last round. They're going to continue to make EVs. I get that. The other positive thing I want to talk about is we've driven the Ioniq 5 in. We drove it against a Ferrari, for God's sakes. And we talked about engine note. We talked about gear sensations. We talked about the things with the Ferrari that create a 4-seat hatchback fun car that the Ioniq 5N fakes well.
And we loved it.
And you can turn off all that stuff like you just can in this.
True.
You can turn off all that stuff, but if you want to have engagement of gear shifts, and you can't see air quotes, but air quotes, sound, the interaction that we enjoy that tells you where you are and how fast you're going. See, this is the problem as a driver. You don't have the reference points to know how fast you're going because the EV just rockets away. And having those engagements back, we were very positive about all of that.
Yes.
So I understand. Look, Porsche's looked at it. Clearly, Mercedes has looked at it. Ferrari is now offering a fake manual on the 12-cylinder. It's a fake manual. Let's just go ahead and continue to call it that. Many of you chimed in, and you totally agree, and that's exactly the case.
I love people chiming in on YouTube because one person said, I've got that exact box for my home sim setup.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I have a Ferrari gearbox. Oh, they could remove that from the car and sell that as a separate piece for sim racing and make even with a Ferrari badge on it and sell it for, I don't know, $100,000, and people would still buy it.
I think this is going to be a thing that most manufacturers start offering because they have their big DSGs that are awesome, and it's a whole
hit
separate
me today.
thing.
Corvette could do the same thing with their DCT.
Yeah.
That's how Corvette brings a manual, which
think
horrifies me.
They've already gone to brake-by-wire.
They have.
I'm sorry, but I think Ferrari is the harbinger of this reality. I think
usually you say doom after the word harbinger.
Yes, that's why I put it in there.
The word doom comes after.
That's why I said harbinger. That's 100% why I use that word. I think they are trumpeting the fact that many other manufacturers are going to go, well, we have a dual clutch transmission.
Yeah, we could plop that on top of our dual clutch and make it operate.
We could charge you for an extra thing, and you could say you have the manual in quotes. By the way, small thing, and I'm coming back to my Mercedes rant. How confused is something like the people posting on Auto Tempest going to be when they have to check manual or automatic when it's a manual on top of a DSG?
And what will dealers say? Is it how do we sell this car?
DCT with a manual on top of it. I don't understand how to. Is this a man? They already are confused.
They already get it.
They already
totally
have no idea.
Wrong.
Yes,
they called manuals or DSGs, manuals. I'm like,
yes.
Well, it has. You can do it yourself.
I saw the reverse today. I looked up a GR Corolla.
Okay.
And I asked for automatics only, and somebody listed a manual because it had rev match as automatic. Confused.
They're not really wrong. I mean, they're like 30% wrong.
So they're already confused. So where is this going to go? On this 45, the last one was very good. It had a surprising amount of power. But let me put it this way. It had a surprising amount of power we all enjoyed and then went, this is a 4-cylinder? Nobody wants the sound of a 4-cylinder. if they're going to mimic this and make it any sound they want, they chose their 4-cylinder that everybody was like, it's not bad for a 4-cylinder. Why didn't you do one of your really cool, amazing sounding AMG V8s that are the best sounding engines out there? If you're going to fake it, fake the good stuff. Why did you do the fake? You can reminisce on the 4-cylinder you were surprisingly surprised by. What? What about the V8 that you love?
It's true. As much as I sound like the old 45s.
Yes. As much as I think that the G-Wagons are obnoxious, they sound amazing.
They sound amazing.
Let's make this sound like a G-Wagon or the big E63 V8 twin turbo thing that is in the big wagon. Make it sound like that.
Well, it's in the menu.
What are we doing?
You can say, I want my car to sound like Kimi Antonelli's Ferrari.
Well, you could do that too.
His Mercedes.
Yeah.
Ferrari. Well, he's Italian. So
yeah, Matt Ferris talked about this before. Is you could have like the menu of all the historic cars for Porsche or whoever.
Today,
you could do that. Yeah,
it's
totally.
The Mercedes Straight Six from the Gullwing or something like that.
My issue here is doing all of this stuff is impressive, and I think Mercedes and Ferrari, this is only the beginning. Everybody's going to offer this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm very confused as to who this is actually for, because putting all this stuff and making it available that you can turn off is like putting a lot of salad dressing on broccoli. You've come to somebody who clearly doesn't want to eat that.
So you drown it in ranch.
And exactly. So we're going to put a bunch of stuff on it until you're willing to choke it down. We know you don't want a performance EV from us, but let me just drown it in salad dressing real quick and have you go, well, maybe I'll try it. But the people that want EVs don't want anything they've added.
I mean, moms and dads will look stylish and they can, do the throttle blip and the vibration in the seats and it'll sound amazing, I think.
Vibration in the seats to make it sound like, because everything everybody likes about EVs is the fact that they're quiet and there's no vibration. So along comes Mercedes and goes, well, what if I gave you loud and with vibration? Well, all the EV buyers are like, why would I want that? And all the people that actually want a car with an engine are like, yeah, but it's an EV. This is a car for nobody. This is a car for nobody. I don't understand who we're selling this for. It is, to your point, it is ranch on top of broccoli for people that don't like EVs. And it's everything you don't like about a gas engine as an extra layer on top of people that like EVs.
Okay, so let me ask about movie theaters with the vibrating rumble seats to make you more immersed, the IMAX experience and the vibrating rumble seats. Does that add to the movie experience because it's fake and the explosion rumbled in my seat okay, I guess I'm paying even more attention now because you got me and I'm freaked out by it and I'm more immersed. Does that help the immersion? You're not in the movie. You're watching a movie on a large screen.
Yeah.
And so you're there. You are participating. You're viewing, but you always know that you're viewing. This is designed to take you a next step. I feel the rocket take off because my seat blasted. And
Disney and all kinds of amusement parks have done this forever. I mean, that's a merging of, it's a blending of, because you're still in entertainment
that's
now.
Still fakery. I'm not in the movie. I wasn't there when the rocket took off.
But that is blending entertainment with immersion. This is driving, which is supposed to be immersive because all of that information we're taking in helps inform us as a driver for what to do next. This is starting to make cars into entertainment. It absolutely is.
Yes.
This is an overlay. And let me say this thing that I'm going to keep beating on, and I wore the shirt to go with it, add lightness. I'm going to keep being ignored, okay? But I'm going to say this again. All of this EV fakery ignores the number one thing that would make EVs more involving, and that is, why don't they weigh less? If they weighed less, and I will give you an example. Not only did I wear the add lightness shirt, but I drove my Elias over here today because I was thinking about this so much. I wanted to drive my Elias and think about it again. And I'm going to say this to all of you, and some of you are going to be like, he's not a car guy. Take away his car guy cred. Whatever. I don't care what the Elias is powered by. I don't care. Yeah. It is irrelevant to me. And I don't even have to have it be a manual. I like that it's a manual. I enjoy that it's a manual. It's a fun thing for me. If the Elias at 2,000 pounds was available with an EV, I wouldn't have to wear noise-canceling headphones all the time. If it were an EV without shifting, I bet you it'd be 85, 90% as much fun as I have actually shifting the 4-cylinder, and it'd be more powerful. But the key thing is, what makes that car fun is direct steering, complete no-assist steering, and low weight. Because it makes it, and it's a cliche, but it makes it a street legal go-kart. The reason we like go-karts is because there's no extra between us and what the thing is doing. That's why we like go-karts. That's why you can take your mom who doesn't like cars go-karting, and she's like, yeah, it was kind of fun. Why? She's directly connected because it doesn't weigh anything, and she's directly connected. And EV go-karts are still quite fun. In fact, I would argue that an EV go-kart is better than a gas go-kart. So my point
instant
is,
torque and,
yes,
yeah.
my point is, all of this crap, all of this salad dressing on top of EVs misses the number one thing I think that would get people involved again for performance EVs. I mean, EV for 7 seats, for luxury, it's going to weigh a lot. But I'm talking about if we want to get performance people in an EV, give it lightweight, direct connection, and then the actual drivetrain and the source of the power is irrelevant. And I stand by an Elias at 2,000 pounds with manual steering and an EV engine I would like just as much as the one I have.
Awesome, amazing points. Tesla Roadster, the first Tesla Roadster, did this very thing, and they did almost all of what you're talking about, except for the weight. And the weight alone. You and I drove it briefly, and the weight killed everything. It killed all of the fun.
It muted it. It made it faster and worse.
It was terrible. I don't like them. I don't like driving them, and it's the Elias chassis electrified. It's everything you're talking about except for weight. And I believe technology will in the future get us there. I believe what you're talking about is possible eventually. The problem is how long from now, because gas cars are still going to be the benchmark and the reference point for every manufacturer. And they're doing it ostensibly well. I mean, here's all the brand new.
Yes.
The list of things that they are mimicking all come from mechanical cars. Mechanical gas-powered cars to make this engaging. But you're right, they still haven't addressed the weight because they can't.
Yes.
Now.
Well, and
so how long will it take before all of that happens, and then maybe none of these features exist? No more vibrating seats, no more rumbling, no more sound, because it's light enough that it can stand on its own merits.
I hope so, for performance cars. And I also think that you're splitting the market here, because the folks that are coming from EVs or have experienced EVs, they don't want rumble. They don't want noise. So yeah, you can turn it off in here, but now you're going like, what did I pay for? Why do I even want all that crap? And the people, again, I'm going to say it, the people that actually want rumble and noise and engagement don't want an EV to fake it. They want to actually experience it. I think this is a car for nobody. I'm very impressed with the technology. I think it is a car for no one.
Every manufacturer is going to continue to do this because they're glossing over the fact that all these EVs will continue to be so heavy. We've been doing this, the collective automotive world has been doing this for more than a decade now. And electric cars are still very heavy. They've overcome with the power. They've overcome now with range. 400 miles out of this? It's a lot more than my 4Runner. It's great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's just fine.
Yeah.
No more range worries,
As
really.
a vehicle, this will be great. It'll be great.
But the weight is still glossed over. The weight and putting every mechanic or every electric feature on it to mask and overcome what the basics of good driving involved is just lack of weight. I think you're right. But that just means every car manufacturer is going to continue to build these holdover cars. I don't know what else to call them. They're going to be placeholders, like the first Tesla Model S. Great, groundbreaking, amazing, and look what it's done for Teslas, and look what it's done to every manufacturer looking at that. And we've got some incredibly, amazingly powerful EVs that outperform gas cars in pretty much every metric. But gas cars still are sought after, and they still want them. I mean, the EV supercars, nobody really wants those.
You're right.
Buyers don't really want them. So car manufacturers are still going down the road of building beautiful, amazing engines of all cylinder shapes and sizes. So I think manufacturers are going to continue to build these holdover cars. And with dressing, to placate and please enthusiasts, because at what point will somebody come out with, it's this, and this properly weighs like 3,000 pounds. And
because this is probably going to weigh 4,800 to 5,000.
Every bit of that.
And I bet you it's 50% more fun if it weighed 3,000 pounds.
Speaking of gas-powered cars, Goodwood Festival of Speed happened over the weekend, and I just went on the YouTube live stream and I captured a few images that just signify power, speed. They have all kinds of cars, all kinds of classes, from rally cars. All the Formula One and Indy cars got driven up the hill, all the Le Mans cars, and then, of course, all the street cars that are so desirable. So just in an effort to tease you and get you excited about cars in general, look what appeared in front of the crowd. The MC Extrema Maserati here, this is blasting up the hill, which is so cool. I mean, the hill is not made for any of these cars.
It's a driveway. Let's be honest. It's a driveway. It's a very nice driveway. It's a big estate, but it's a driveway.
It's a garden party with a car problem.
Yeah.
Really
it's very
what this
cool.
amounts to. So Maserati MC Extrema, Ferrari F80, which I am personally in love with. I
know you like
I'm
that thing.
all about this thing.
Huh, interesting.
I
Okay.
need
All
to
right.
drive it. Lamborghini Essenza R, 6.5 liter. Here is the Ferrari Amalfi Singer DLS Turbo 911 and a Singer Turbo as well. Mustang GTD and the Gordon Murray SV Special Vehicles Le Mans GTR XP, which was delightful, and also the Gordon Murray T.50S. And then Ben Collins, the Stig, drove a 200 horsepower Blitzen Benz and drifted this thing up the hill. His hands were constantly
the thin little
going.
tires, yeah.
He had this thing sideways the whole time, and the announcers were just going nuts, and it was just so cool to see these driven. So the future topic Tuesday that I bring up by showing you all these images and getting you excited, this car is, I don't know what the year is, but it's probably approaching 100 years old.
About 100 years old, yeah.
And it's still running, it's still maintained, it's still being driven hard, it's still in existence. All these others, when they're 60, 80, 100 years old, will they still be around? Will they still be being driven? Would you drive an 80-year-old Mustang GTD? Because it'll probably be around.
Yeah. Well, and here's where the digital reality is so difficult.
These last because they're mechanical.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Will all these others last and be sought after and driven and drifted up the hill at whatever event in the future?
I mean, I hope so, but I mean, you've probably heard the story, and it was famous story for a while, 4 or 5 years ago, that the McLaren F1, continually thought up as one of the best hypercars ever, maybe the first ever hypercar, all of these things are debated, was released in the 90s. And anybody that needed to service it had to have a mid-90s Toshiba laptop to do it. And it wasn't until literally after this kind of became a known problem, 5, maybe 10 at the most years ago, 5 or so years ago, that they actually figured out a way to get the interface to talk to something other than a mid-90s Toshiba laptop.
It was the bus in a serial bus
whatever
interface
they had
or
to do
something
to convert it. And this is what's going to be required for every early EV and pretty much any modern car, because there is so much data and digital and computerized reality going on to make it run at all. You can't just fire it up in the garage because you stoked it properly. You can't. You're going to have to get it, I hate to say it this way, the right kind of electricity delivered through the right plug and talking to the right computer to go, I found in the code and I resurrected it. Any of us right now, do you have a computer more than 10 years old? And any of us right now, do you have data on a digital disk format that doesn't have a reader anymore?
I do, and I still have the reader, but it's old USB, and that was cutting edge.
That's just like home computing, not car computing. We all already have stuff that's like, I really ought to get it off this disk before nobody can read this disk anymore. You know?
I don't own a CD player. Well, I guess I do own I still have a CD player that's the 5-disc turntable.
Of course it is, yeah.
It is collecting dust on a shelf somewhere. I still have it.
Yeah. This is the thing about how fast technology is moving when we have digitally driven cars. Let me put it another way. A car with a digital brain.
Which is most...
How long does the digital brain last, and how do you keep talking to it? And I am not saying, therefore, who cares? I'm saying, how do we solve this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, when the Mustang GTD is 80 years old, this will be like 160 years old.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Do you want to drive a 160, 200-year-old car?
Fascinating, isn't it?
It's amazing to think about. And yet the mechanicals are still so sought after. There's still that interaction, the feeling. I mean, it comes down, for me, it's all about watches. I think the Fitbit, the whatever digital thing on your wrist, it's going in the junk drawer. They're cool. They do all kinds of features. At some point, they're going to hit the junk drawer and maybe a garage sale, and maybe you'll be like, I don't even know what that does anymore, in the trash. Because the battery died, and I can't even have the plug anymore. It doesn't even work. But a mechanical watch, doesn't matter the movement, I don't care, but a mechanical, automatic, even a quartz watch, that's still going to be around a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, and anytime we post anything, and it's happened ad nauseum on our R2 Model Y 4Runner piece, there's always comments about why would you want to go backwards, that's what the EV Mercedes is trying to solve. Why would you want to go backwards? But pick your analog interest, and I'm going to give 3. Pour over coffee when you could do instant.
Mm-hmm.
A film camera, be that stills or actually making a feature film, when you could just record digitally. Or a vinyl record when you could get the digital remaster that has none of the pops and hiss and all that kind of stuff. Do any of you listening like any of the things I just mentioned? And if so, you've picked the harder, older, worse version of that. I like vinyl. Actually, the vinyl's interesting.
Probably paid more for it.
Absolutely. You did it because there is something about that analog, non-digital experience that you prefer. And you know 100%, with no illusions, that it's harder, worse, and more difficult, and you like it more. This is the thing that when we hear people argue about EVs are everything and why do you like old cars, folks miss. There is a interaction that some of us like that is like these things I've mentioned, pour over coffee and film. I mean, Christopher Nolan is shooting on film, on IMAX.
Still.
Yes, absolutely. And no one, all of us are some level of Christopher Nolan aware. None of us are going, why isn't that guy shooting digital? We're all going, good for you, man.
It's true.
Okay, so there is something about analog processes that is more engaging, but it is most of the time harder and worse. But the experience makes it worth it.
But now Mercedes is alleviating all of that with a few lines of code. They make the seats rumble. They make the pops and cracks and bangs, and it's all fine. We can just gloss over everything. It's just a few lines of code and you're done. And soon AI will write the code, and soon you can plug your EV, your old EV from 40 years ago, into some, the OBD or whatever it is, and say, hey, Claude, or whatever current AI platform dominates at the time, and say, will you fix my car? And you'd be like, fixed, done.
You're probably right.
And
That's
it probably
exactly what's going to
charges
happen.
to the same port. So AI,
while you drink your instant coffee and watch your
clearly here the solution is AI for everything.
Yes.
And maybe it'll.
Thanks for listening. Next week this podcast will be done entirely by AI and probably be better for it. Anyway, yes.
Yikes. We know that you're either shopping for your next car or looking up prices for fun. We do it too, and we only use Autotempest.com.
Because Autotempest pulls listings from all the top sites as fast as any single site and shows them all to you so you don't miss a listing for your perfect car. You can save your search, get alerts, and even compare prices with their price trends tool.
Plus, Autotempest was our first sponsor, and they've been our partner for years. Like us, they want you to find the perfect car.
For this podcast or for your garage, find the next car with Autotempest.com/everyday. All the cars, one search, Autotempest.
Tim in Knoxville, Tennessee says, greetings. He says, maybe this is a seed of a Topic Tuesday. I think it is, Tim. He's been in a funk about his garage for a while. Years, actually.
Yikes.
The first time he had the disposable income for a second vehicle, he bought a nice pre-owned BMW M240i with a manual transmission. It left within a year because he just wasn't feeling it. After he flirted with other ideas and replaced his daily driver with an Integra A-Spec, also manual, thinking that it would be a nice thing to toss around on the weekend, well, that only lasted 15 months. Again, he wasn't feeling it. He reverted to a daily with zero sporting pretense, BMW X3 with a 4-banger in German rainbow shade.
Meaning gray.
I saw a writer describe a shade of gray as gray that's been through an ugly divorce. Like that that is a descriptor for gray.
That's a gray you don't want.
We know what that gray looks like.
Yeah, that's all bad, yeah.
He says this X3 is a great tool for kids, dogs, work, but his driveway is a sea of crossovers, and that is not what he envisioned for himself. The past weekend, after he wrote to us, he went to Porsche Platica. It was the first show of any kind that he's ever experienced. Unlike his driveway, the quarry was a sea of 911s in every generation, names them all.
Knoxville area has figured out how to do their own version of air water. It's an all Porsche display at a very nice location, and it's all very curated from the website to the way the cars are parked. They definitely have looked at air, water, okay, and they've gone, how do we do this on our coastline ourselves, okay, on our part of the.
Cool.
So that's what it is. So you can just envision what we're talking about. So a very artistic, very well curated way to walk around a bunch of Porsche product. And he went there and just thought, this is amazing. He saw Gunther Works, Singers, Roofs, Carrera GTs, 918s, every version of 911 he could possibly imagine, and found himself just standing and staring at a 356. That's pre-911 for those of you who don't speak Porsche. That is pre-911, old pre-911, staring at a 356 coupe going, I am in love with this. It makes no sense. I can't afford it, but I'm just in love, which made him come to an interesting realization. Remember that 240 that he bought, didn't like enough? Or the Integra A-Spec that he bought and didn't like enough? In both cases, that's not the car he wanted. He was wanting to buy an M2, bought an M240, ended up not liking it. Wanted to buy the Integra Type S. They were available. He had the money for it. Went, yeah, but the A-Spec makes more sense. Bought that one and didn't like it.
Tim says he's unhappy because he's rational. That really struck me, Tim.
Yeah, I see it.
Because there's that part of all of us. There's the irrational part of us that scans Auto Tempest and looks for crazy cars for sale and watches Goodwood Festival of Speed with I would totally buy that. And when it actually comes down to it and you actually have the money, would you? Would you? Would you go through the pain and trouble, even at a low level of sports car? Let's say 100,000, maybe 150. People still look at you.
Yeah.
People still kind of chase you through traffic, take photos.
Yeah.
You can't just go over all the normal drainage ditch humps and bumps, and you got to slow down. You got to be careful. You got to drive it a little bit differently. He's hung up on the idea that a car should be used for an intended purpose. So much so that when buying, he forgot to factor in the beauty and sensation and engineering. The things that draw him to cars in the first place. Does Tim still believe in using a thing for its intended purpose? Yes. But going forward, he has to be a little frivolous. As if buying a weekend car is based on that sense in the first place, and he doesn't know how he got into this mental cul-de-sac.
This is good stuff, Tim. I like this very much. I've equated cars and car relationships to people relationships many times. So I'm going to go kind of out on that limb again. I'm going to ask this question to all of you listening and watching. Do any of you listening and watching have somebody your parents thought you should marry? I remember in my teenage years, my dad had...
You had this happen to you?
My dad, I mean, it was never like, there was never like pressure, but my dad, I remember, was like, he knew this girl that was friends of ours, and he was like, that would be perfect for you. And I was like, really? And then if I was objective about it, intellectually, he'd made a good intellectual choice. She would have been a perfectly acceptable spouse. But you heard the sentence I just said. A perfectly acceptable spouse. Okay? She was cute, smart enough, interestingly enough, we had enough of a rapport. But there wasn't that extra layer of spark.
Passion, love,
I've been married
romance.
a long time to a woman that sometimes or don't like her that much. It's just like, this is hard because that's marriage, okay? She's fiery, all right? But yet that's kind of the point too, all right? The intellectual choice, the choice that makes all the intellectual sense, rarely, not always, but rarely has a layer on top of it of frivolity and fun. You made the smart choice, the wise choice. It's very rarely the fun choice in people, in cars, in hobbies. Okay? If you want to make a smart choice on an outdoor hobby, shuffleboard. You're not going to be injured. You get to talk to friends. Let's be honest. Okay? This is why, I hate to say it, but this is why golf is successful. Because you can be wildly out of shape and do golf. I'm not saying you're doing it well, but you can
sit in your golf cart and use it like
polo.
polo.
Golf cart getting you to all the places. You get to talk to your buddies. You can be wildly drunk. You have all the activities, all right? Okay, you see what I'm saying?
I see.
Mountain biking, skiing, and I'm not saying you have to go to wingsuit flying, even though there's a part of me that's like, wingsuit flying looks pretty cool because I'm wired that way. But I'm also like, yeah, I'm also a husband and a father, and I have a career, so let's not do that. So,
there's a lot of...
But the
GoPro videos look really cool.
The stuff that has a little bit of layer of unknown, or I shouldn't be doing this, or this is more crazy than I should probably be. That's the stuff that has hardcore memories and long-term love. He bought a Integra A-Spec, not the Type S.
Which is a cool car.
He bought an M240 and not the M2. This is rationality winning. And for car, look, you're also talking about second car, fun car.
You're already in an irrational category.
The whole point there is let's go fun.
That's true.
That's the whole thing. But you have to convince yourself, and especially if it's second car. So, Tim, I want to encourage you. What is the car? The 356 may be out, but what is the car you think, I couldn't. You want to very badly. Like the little kid in you is like, please. But the rest of you is going, I couldn't. What is that car? Because I want you to buy that car. And then I want you, here's the thing, to take real drives in it. Commute in if you want. Obviously, everyday driver. We want you to drive, love the car you drive every day. But what is the thing you could go do in that car where you're like, could I really do an overnight to that place in that car? Yes, do that. That's what we got to do.
Tim says, feel free to use him as a cautionary tale. And I guess a little bit, Tim, that's kind of the purpose of your email, because you're wanting to get this out there to everybody listening and watching. He writes that he hopes to get this right with a third attempt. And we don't know if you've done this yet. We don't know if you've gotten the third car yet, or the third try. I want to use this as justification for why I always push on people's budgets. I want to do that, and I want to say, I told you so, because if you spend more, you'll like it more. That's not always true. Spending more does not equate. And what I do love doing is, hey, we found you something that you didn't consider and it's less than your budget and you love it even more. I do love that part.
I agree.
But many times, spending more can equate to what you're looking for. Here's the other problem with that, though, Tim. You get precious with it. It's the opposite of what he's talking about. You get precious and it sits in the garage and he rubs it with a diaper.
He never drives it. He just rubs it with a diaper.
I couldn't do it.
A man with his priorities so far out of whack doesn't deserve such a beautiful automobile. How much of Ferris Bueller would you like me to do?
Right there. Yeah. So you need to keep it clean. Use Griot's Garage products to do so, but then go drive it, because Griot's Garage also says go drive your stuff. Go drive it into the ground. Go do those road trips. Go on the vacations and take the fun car. I come back to that story about when we had the Corvette on the South Dakota trip and a guy approached us. He was riding in his wife's Cadillac XT5 or Cadillac SUV,
small SUV,
whatever it was. And he said, I just got one of these. I just took delivery. It's at home. We're like, why isn't it here?
No, that was the thing. You said,
it's back at home in Canada or somewhere.
If I remember correctly, I know maybe you're making this up, but maybe this is the version I wanted to happen. But if I remember correctly, he said, I just bought one of these, and you said, where is it?
I think
I watched the guy get unplugged. It was like I watched him power down, like, seriously.
Well, it's sort of like, I want to see it. Like,
yes.
Is it in the parking lot? Like, cool.
No, we brought the wife's SUV, and he was having so much trouble computing the fact that here was a C8 covered in bugs in South Dakota, and some of those roads around Mount Rushmore are awesome.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
I guess I just wanted to know, and I was just trying to be encouraging, like, oh, cool, assuming that you'd driven yours too, because that's what they're built to do. They're made to do that. But no, it was not at home. So we actually parked next to them in an underground hotel parking garage. And we left before they did in the morning. And that thing starts in sport mode. And the garage thundered. I know they heard it in their hotel room. And he probably just went, gosh. Fly home and get your car.
Seriously, man, oh man.
Tim, I want to encourage you as well, because I want to say go spend more money to get the thing that you've always wanted. And I'll say, 51% of me will say that. But also, what is the cool, fun thing that is maybe irrational, but it's cheaper, but it's so unusable, it's so sport-like that you can't. The perfect example is a replica 356. Those are $40,000. It's still the unusable, low crash protection, not sure if it's going to start and run. I forgot to hook it up to the battery charger. You got to pay attention to it more than you do a Corolla. But on the other hand, you could get all the benefits of that 356. Go get yourself a $30,000 or $40,000 replica. Be happy, and got a little. Still a $40,000 car. I get that.
Money's a thing.
But then the lightweight. Oh, I'm in a 356. Who cares if it's a replica? And people that see them nowadays, most people expect it to be a replica because they know that if you're driving a real one, you're out in a $500,000 356. Hope there's nothing happens to it because then you get too precious. So not every car can be a replica car to bring that feeling back. But if the 356 really did it for you, go shopping for the 356. And I expect your third attempt means 356. That means you went and bought one. I'm joking, but I want to encourage you. I want to encourage all of us. I want to encourage you listening and watching that, let's put the rationality a little bit aside, especially to your point when you're talking about a second car. For family car. Look, family car, if you need a minivan and you have a bunch of kids and you can't afford another car and it's a minivan, let's find you the best minivan.
Don't buy the Supra.
Yes, let's find you the best minivan. I totally get it. For your daily that has to do all the family stuff, okay, rationality has to apply. But for the second/fun car, if we're not having fun, what are we doing? It's in the name, the fun car. I'm just putting it out there. Anyway, yeah.
Tim, thank you for writing. If you've got a Topic Tuesday, if you're pondering life's decisions, if you're pondering on what car to get next, Car Debates, Topic Tuesdays, rational, irrational, we want to hear it all. everydaydrivertv@gmail.com. Hooked on Driving for July 2026. Coming up Saturday, Sunday, July 18th and 19th. Hooked on Driving Midwest is celebrating 50 years of speed at Hallett Celebration Weekend at his Hallett Motor Racing Circuit in Jennings, Oklahoma. That should be a really cool track. And Lonnie and Marla have talked about getting back to Hallett. They love that track. And that'll hopefully bring a lot of people. So if you're in that area and you haven't been to Hallett, come to Hooked on Driving Day, July 18th, 19th. That is next weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Following Saturday, Hooked on Driving Pacific Northwest is Portland International Raceway, PIR. It is right next to the airport and a great track from what we understand. Come to PIR and go meet Bear, go meet Jonathan. They would love to have you and host you there and bring your fun, amazing car and get some laps. And we continually hear that both Pacific Northwest and Midwest are doing some awesome food. Every region is doing some great food, but they are really focusing heavily. So we're a foodie group with a car problem, I guess.
We are. Absolutely. There's other stuff going on. I want to mention two things that are actually in our backyard real quick. If you're in Utah, certainly the Salt Lake area, we're going to be at both of these, and we'd love to see you there. And I'm going to give you lots of lead time on both of these. First off, August 29th, there's a charity car show that is happening. All the proceeds go to military families in Ronald McDonald House. That is All Makes Welcome. That is going to be down in the Salt Lake area. But then even more exciting for me personally, as I wear a Lotus shirt and park one in your driveway, there's a huge national Lotus event happening at the end of September in the Salt Lake area. And on Monday, September 28th, we are doing a Hooked on Lotus and Friends day at our local track, Utah Motorsports Campus. But why this is extra special, besides having a lot of Lotus content, and I have two I can bring. Anyway, besides that, it's a ridiculous sentence. Can't even believe it. Anyway, besides that, this is the full UMC. It's over 4 miles long. You rarely get to run the full track. And I would argue that the full track at UMC is up there with some of the best tracks in the nation. Either the halves are fine, but the full track is way up there.
Pretty awesome.
It's like 25 corners or something. There's a lot to remember. A lap takes a while. It is a unique experience with a huge front straight. Whatever your top speed of your car is, you will find it on the front straight. That's how long the front straight is. And then there's all of these wiggles. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait. So that is Monday, September 28th. Lead time, as Todd said. Also, we heard Shanu, who built the 111 RS that was in our Elias comparison just recently. Hopefully you've seen that. He is bringing a new version of a 111 to that event. So he'll be showing that off. There'll be Lotuses of all kinds. I'm hoping they accept Porsches to come run on track.
It's Hooked on Lotus and Friends. So we'll let you in. I mean, we might make fun of you a little bit, but we'll let you in.
That's all right. I'll be just fine. But if you are in the Utah area or you have never driven UMC, full track experience. We know that's a Monday, but hey, extends the weekend and come out for the full track experience. HookedOnDriving.com for a track day near you. And the second half of 2026 is shaping up to be an amazing track day. Track days across the nation. There's some great events coming up nationwide. So look for an event near you. Come to an event, and we hope to see you there. Dave is in Seattle writing about his almost perfect garage because it's not quite perfect yet.
We're working on it. We're helping him. It's good.
We are the primary influence on him getting a low miles 2023 BRZ last November. Congratulations. Ooh. Dave, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He was not strapped for budget, looked at every option, including various 911s, and concluded the only thing cooler than being a poor man driving a poor man's Porsche is a rich man driving the poor man's Porsche.
He also knows that's awesome. A terrible sentence, but what I like here
it's
is
a good sentiment.
You drove everything. This is what I like. You drove everything. You had budget to go high and big into the 911 lineup, and you bought the BRZ, and you love it as a daily. You love it as involving, and I'm going to beat on it again. You like it because it's low weight.
Yeah.
You do. You like it because it's low weight and involving, and so that has just revolutionized your thinking about cars, and that is fascinating.
He's now got the BRZ, and his 2017 Volkswagen Sportwagen 4Motion has 135,000 miles on it. And he says most people drop them. I didn't really realize that.
He lifted his.
He went the other way.
I love it.
Shocks, replaced the turbo, tuned it from 170 horsepower to 270 horsepower. Pretty cool. Up in Seattle, they spend a lot of time in the mountain skiing, he and his family, climbing, trail running. He's a musician and has to lug amps and guitars around. And this wagon is perfect as the practical side of the garage, but only almost. After owning a manual as his daily again, the sport wagon is DSG and the only automatic he's ever had. He's so not into the automatic transmission.
Interesting. Okay.
And also after having a good normally aspirated engine, he's not into the turbo.
I have a thought on this that I think your issue, Dave, might not be what you think, but okay, let's keep going.
Interesting. He wants us to help him replace half the garage.
Okay.
His gal just replaced her absolute ripper Audi A4 Avant with a Mustang Mach-E. They also have their fully kitted Dodge Ram ProMaster 2500 camper van. He's got a long history, including a lot of Volkswagens. He had a GTI GLX VR6, finally BRZ, Volvo 145 wagon from 1972. He had a 1963 Volvo 122 sedan.
Wow.
Datsun 610 wagon, what a dog, he says, but obviously fond enough memories that you wrote it here.
But you mentioned it, yeah.
He was really into cars in his 20s. 3 of his best friends and he owned Volvo 122s. They had a Volvo Specialist IPD down in Portland. Then he had kids and life got crazy. He wasn't so into cars. Time passed. Kids went to college.
Slow fade. End of montage. Yeah.
Comes back up.
Yeah.
Then he found a 2000 GTI and let the kids drive the sport wagon and discovered he loved the little VR6 naturally aspirated engine, but he wanted rear-wheel drive, something a bit newer, which led to deliberation and finally the purchase of the BRZ. So you'd think he's happy, but he wants his practical car to be more like that BRZ.
Interesting.
He finds himself why Subaru doesn't make more cars in the BRZ platform. Well, they've got another car company to consider in the market and the fact that their entire lineup is like SUV, all-wheel drive, everything off-road, and the BRZ.
Yeah, that one's super weird in their lineup. But even in Toyota's lineup, it would be weird. But I'm going to side note this again. We've talked about it before. If Toyota or Subaru made a 4-door sedan version on top of that platform, we'd have a new E36 in BMW.
Oh.
And that's a car that I feel like a good percentage of our car debates would be answered by that car. Small, light, rear-wheel drive 4-door, but nobody makes it. So Dave is asking for suggestions to replace the sport wagon. Now, here's where it gets quite difficult because many of you are thinking already, oh, I've got it. But now let me put the actual parameters on you. Needs to be naturally aspirated, no turbos, no superchargers, manual transmission, wagon or hatchback. Stuff is falling off the list right and left to hit all of those buttons. Doesn't need to have exceptionally high clearance, but can't be super low. He's flexible on drive wheels, and it needs to be a car he's confident jumping into and driving across country. So not some weird, this has to be babied mechanical reality. He's asking for our best shot. He's loving us leading him to the BRZ. He wants essentially the wagoned 4-door version of a BRZ, which resoundingly does not exist.
Chance, our videographer, whom most of you know and have seen on camera, he has been suggesting a lot about his next car and been sending us all the cars that he's found from the 2012 to 2018 F31 BMW 3 Series Touring. The manuals are almost non-existent to be able to find and drive. So I started with that as the germ of the idea. I thought, could we do something here? And I'm going to sniper with caveats.
Ooh, okay.
What I came up with here is a 2008 BMW 328i, and this is the only one that I could find so far because most of them are automatics, but this is the 2006 to 2012 E91 BMW 328 Touring with 141,000 miles, so it's a bit higher miles.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's only $25,000. Great wheels, looks top condition, and this pretty much, I think this is the car that you're looking for because manual, like I said, most of them are auto, and this is the manual one, but it's got higher miles. But based on our initial discussion, our topic Tuesday, and what we were discussing about Mercedes, imagine this is an 80-year-old car.
Interesting. Yeah.
Will we still be interested in it? Would you still drive it with maybe 500,000 miles on it? And it's been everything has been replaced. Suspension and gearbox and engine, everything's been replaced, but it's still in great shape, and we're still driving it. And if you have that long lead time, that long headspace, does it matter that it's got 141,000 miles on it? Because it looks really clean. Also, I think the price is a little bit dreaming here for 25 grand. I mean, I think it should be worth about 20, maybe just under for something like this, but it looks great. And
looks great. Nice
I think
wagon.
That's exactly what you want. As a musician, the outdoor thing, I think this is the car for you. I actually love this. There's caveats though. It's a little bit higher priced and it's a little bit higher miles. But if you don't mind having maybe a 200,000 or 300,000 mile BMW 328 Touring in top shape that everybody's going to be like, oh, what a great, sweet wagon. I mean, there's other wagons in this genre that I think you could find, but I'm using this as a representative example to go shop in this category because I don't think you're going to find anything that will satisfy you outside of this category.
The problem here is all of these parameters at once, Dave, where we can't make exceptions on any of them. And I like these BMWs, but I think by this point, and I'm not sure, but I think by this point BMW had to get into the 340s to get away from the four-cylinder. But I want to stop there on four-cylinder turbos for a second, Dave. And I think your issue, and I could be wrong, but I think your issue is not you don't like turbos. I think it's you don't like four-cylinder turbos. Because there's not a lot of discussion here about you having anything but a four-cylinder turbo. And I'm trying to think of cars that are not naturally aspirated, that are above four cylinders. My supercharged Emira, which was the Evora platform. So it's a 3.5 liter V6 supercharged. Actually, it's a great power plant. The supercharged Hellcat motor, not naturally aspirated, but nobody's arguing that's a bad power plant.
It's true. Yeah.
The B58 motor that is in the BMW 3 Series products and the Supra. Phenomenal engine. I don't think you're driving that and going, yeah, but it's turbo. I don't think you care. I think it's awesome. I think the issue for you, Dave, is four-cylinder turbo.
Interesting.
And I'm saying that honestly to justify some of my own choices, but because doing all of these things is really hard. The other part is you're recognizing and liking the small, chuckable nature of the BRZ. And I think there, Paul, you've done the only answer. The closest you can get in wagon form is those BMWs.
It's not, but it's the
closest.
Absolute closest. And you got to look back a few generations just to get to there. Only you can answer the question if you agree with that and you would accept that.
I'm going to give you a few here, Dave. I'm going to give you a few other ones. But what I had to do is I had to go bigger than I think you want. But I can solve it with, to your point, caveats, things that are not quite perfect. But let's walk through them real quick. First off, I think a great option for you. You haven't given us a budget. Clearly, you have budget to work with. So that can be a little scary here on the show. But let's start here. A 2020 Kia Stinger GT2 for $50,000 with 3,900 miles on it.
Brand new.
It's brand new in fantastic orange.
It's 6 years old and it's brand new.
These drive so well. They have that hidden hatch on them.
Yeah.
They drive great. They drive better than you think. This is a turbocharged six-cylinder, but I think like that B58, it's not as good as the B58, but it's still a solid engine. I think you're going to get in this and not care. I think that engine's going to be good enough to not care. But the problem...
Not a Turbo 4.
Exactly. The problem is it doesn't come in manual.
No manual.
Okay? But I think this Kia Stinger GT2 is a great option for you. I'm going to stand by that in spite of the fact that it's turbocharged. How about this? 2014 Mercedes-Benz E-Class E63 AMG 4MATIC. This is the wagon we're all picturing with the great grumbly engine. A real grumbly engine. This is not seats that vibrate. This is the real thing, everybody. $55,000 roughly with 56,000 miles. This is a more than 10-year-old car.
I can't decide if that's a deal or not.
I think it's probably a deal, except for the fact that you're going to be spending maintenance money on this.
Yeah,
$55,000. But it looks great too. This is when I saw this as 2014, I was like, that doesn't look like a 2014. It looks like it could have been last year. This is a great era of Mercedes.
My neighbor has one of these, and they live up the hill. And
ooh, you get to hear it grumble.
Every time they come home and they just nail it up the hill. I'm like, oh.
Sounds great. These have such great performance. I think this is a win across the board, except for one problem, and that is it's auto. There's no manual. But the engine's right. The scale of it is right. I love this for you. Also, by the way, a part of you wants to make this wagon do your off-roady things, and then you have the ProMaster Ram.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a big off-roady thing, take the ProMaster.
Yeah.
Okay? But anyway, so this is exactly what you're looking for, except
that's sweet looking.
It is auto. So then how about what I think is the only actual answer that checks every box for you, and I still don't know that it's right. The 2012 Cadillac CTS-V wagon with a manual, the one I'm showing right here, is a manual. This is an $80,000 car with 50,000 miles on it because they are rare and hard to find. But this, my friend Dave, is exactly what you want. It's a big old V8. It's manual transmission. It's wagon shape. Dynamics are very good. Watch our old review of this. These are very, very good. Now it's bigger. All of these are bigger than your 86, your BRZ.
Yeah.
But this is a phenomenal car. And if I had to check
nailed it here.
every box of what you want, I wind up here and nowhere else. CTS-V wagon manual. They are so hard to find. This one was the only one on Auto Tempest right now.
80 grand?
80 grand for 50,000 miles.
80 grand.
But that reflects the fact that nobody else makes this combination. Mm-hmm. So, Dave, I think your answer is this. I don't know that it really is the car you're going to buy, but if I really take your parameters and I go hit every box, this is where I am. This is the one that does it.
I think you've nailed it.
It's all that does it.
I mean, everything except for the price.
Yeah. Well, but we know he's got budget, but there you go. So there's your answer is for the wagon you want. I have a wild card, though, too. I originally had two wild cards because I actually thought one of the wild cards for him would be the Mustang Mach-E Rally. It's lifted,
right?
But his girl has a Mach-E already. So I threw that out, and I left us with one wild card. You're going to see all the exceptions I'm making. Also, the one I'm showing is not the one you should buy, but I'm showing this for what they cost now, and I can't believe this one looks like this. It's in Vegas, which is appropriate. This is a chrome pink 2022 Porsche Taycan 4.
Oh, but look at that. Look at the price.
$72,000. These cars are not worth anything. Yeah, now they're worth a lot more than the equivalent similar chassis Audi e-tron GT. But I like the Taycan quite a bit. This is the Sport Turismo, which I prefer that back end. But I just thought, I'm wondering if you should just go electric. Okay? You have exposure to it. Mm-hmm. A Taycan, you also have eyed Porsches. So this puts you into Porsche.
True.
I mean, not necessarily the pink chrome version from Vegas, but I wanted to show this because I can't believe this is out there and exists. Anyway.
It's pretty eye-catching. I mean, it's
you're not gonna ignore
for everyone,
it. It's
but
not for everyone, but it is. I mean, I still think this is a great looking car.
It is a great.
They have come down like crazy. You can get these as low as like 50 grand now if you get like a base model Taycan. Okay, so they're out there. They're well within your budget because we have an understanding of the range of your budget. It's somewhere in 911 money, which is a lot. Okay, you get away from turbo 4s. This is removing multiple things. Let's be honest. There's no manual transmission here. There's no engine at all.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if it separates you enough that it's okay again. I wonder if we get you away from an engine into something that's just quick and agile. If the fact that you've got full analog, or as analog as modern cars go, in your BRZ We get you into Porsche dynamics. We remove the engine element at all. It's just quick because it's electric. Then because it's the daily, are you okay with the fact that you can't shift it anymore, that there's no manual? I'm wondering. That's why it's in wildcard territory. I think the answer is CTS v Blackwing. CTS v Wagon. I think that's the answer. But my wild card that I feel pretty confident about is a Taycan, possibly.
That's quite good. And what you're asking Dave to do is not ignore his list of must-haves, but set them aside because he gets them out of the BRZ and embrace new parameters that he might actually like.
Potentially, yes.
That maybe, Dave, you hadn't considered. That's really good. I like the Taycan, but this...
Taycan, these are my top two because one of them's a wild card.
That's really good. I think you've nailed it here, but they're on the higher end of things. But
yeah, but I think he has the budget for both of these. And here's the other part about it. I actually think you could get a Porsche Taycan and it'll run indefinitely. I really do. I think they're going to run a long time. And this CTS V Wagon in manual, they're not making this car again.
If only Cadillac builds the next generation CT5 with a wagon.
In a wagon shape.
Because certainly Cadillac executives have seen what Genesis did with the G90 wingback concept and how the internet melted down.
I hope they sell that car, but yeah.
Surely, and Cadillac would be like, maybe we should make the wagon again because it was so everything. It just hit all the hot buttons.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already making a manual transmission rear-wheel drive sedan, which is already on the outlier of everything they want to do.
Totally.
Might as well go all the way.
I mean, if you didn't want a wagon, I would say CT4 or CT5 Blackwing all day long for you, Dave, but the wagon thing takes those out. Yeah. They're right along the lines of what you're hoping for in every other way except for not being wagons. Anyway.
Dave, we're curious. Let us know. I think everyone's curious. Keep us posted.
If you own a European enthusiast car, you need parts from FCP Euro. Founded in 1986, this family company is celebrating its 40th year serving DIY enthusiasts and remains focused on giving you a better ownership experience.
Every part you buy from FCP Euro is guaranteed for the life of your car. Plus, they have a dedicated team of service advisors to help you solve issues and complete a job correctly 7 days a week. With fulfillment centers nationwide and pre-built kits for common jobs, there's no better place for genuine OE parts for your European car, even for your Saab.
FCP Euro only sells products they put on their own cars, so find the right parts for yours. FCP Euro is a proud partner of Everyday Driver and supporter of our road trip films. So go to fcpeuro.com today and prepare for your own adventure.
Rick R. writes to us. He's 41 years old and he's got a dilemma because he drives currently a 2017 Toyota Corolla. 160,000 miles, it's still chugging along. His current commute is about 41 miles each way from Maryland into DC and back again, which means a lot of traffic each way. Corolla has been a car that's provided great mileage and reliability with zero driving engagement.
Does everything about the commute and doesn't involve me at all. Yep, got it.
Rick's son just turned 16, and he's thinking about handing him the keys to the Corolla and then buying something else, something more exciting, but it also has to do the commute part very well. He's had a strange and diverse car history with sporty or fast cars sprinkled in between, the last one before the Corolla being a 2006 Pontiac GTO with the 6-liter LS2 that made around 450 horsepower. That's an awesome, fun car, not really a good commuter. He's had his eye on the ND2 Miata, Elantra N, but he doesn't know if he'd be okay commuting back and forth on those. He doesn't want a gas guzzler V8 that's going to be too expensive, but he also doesn't want to buy some other boring commuter or hybrid car and then find himself wishing. You don't want to let the rational creep into your rational decision. We're going to have to walk the line here.
But this is the same conversation we had with the Topic Tuesday at the front of the podcast. That's what we're talking about. We're debating that again. I love it.
He's going to finance whatever he buys. His budget is $25,000 to $35,000. Car doesn't have to be new, but needs to be low mileage because he will rack up the mileage. And he likes manual transmission, but doesn't know if that's really the best call for DC traffic. He says it sounds like he wants a transformer or something like that.
I love it. This is really great. Rick, we have a very good friend of the show, Shane, who does exactly what you do. He commutes into DC. And I think based on what I understand of the area, as much as I love manual transmission, I think it's out. Unless, here's the caveat. Unless, Rick, you're going to be a person who's going to take your manual transmission car out on the weekends for fun drives to places where you can actually be in motion.
A little unclear on that one.
And I think it's unlikely. I think you're mainly shopping for a daily you can enjoy more. And as much as I want to say get a manual, for the stop-and-go understanding I have of current DC traffic, I think it's going to frustrate you more than you're going to enjoy it. That's my concern. That's my initial thing. I think, and I am a guy that has driven a manual transmission and stop and go. It can be done. There's still
for about 3 minutes.
There's still the engagement factor that is really cool, but I think the car is going to leave your life faster because it's a manual. So I'm thinking everything I'm thinking about here is automatic.
Okay, you've got choices.
I do.
How many?
Look, let's just walk through. I'll just run through them real quick. Okay, so you're thinking about commuting in an ND2 or an Elantra N. So let's just start there. There's not a thing wrong with those. I think that's a great idea. Right now, in front of us, a 2024 MX-5 Miata RF Grand Touring in the proper color, right inside your budget at $34,800 with essentially delivery miles, 320 miles on it. Somebody just got rid of this right after they bought it. I don't know why. That is an auto. This is just representative.
It's in Soul
Go
Red.
on Auto Tempest right now. You can find a ton of these. Autotempest.com/everyday. Find yourself a Miata that you like the color and the spec. Find them in auto. They're almost always cheaper in auto. This is one of those cars where, yes, I prefer it in manual, but it's so light and involving and interesting to drive that it doesn't lose those features in auto. It's still good.
That's why this is set.
Because it's auto, you think? Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's why it's as cheap as it is. But the autos are where you find the deals on Miatas. So I think an MX-5 would be a fantastic commute car in auto, and I think you would just personally enjoy it. The other thing about the current ND that I've said before, first off, I hope you fit. But if you fit, it's not a great car for a passenger. It's a great commute car. There's limited amount of space in the footwell for the passenger, but you're commuting in it.
Yeah.
This will be a fun car to commute in because it's lightweight and small. Lightweight and small are the things that I think are going to make this work for you, Rick. I'm going to go to the Elantra. I think that would also be a fun commute car.
That's pretty.
This was coming right off of Auto Tempest via Carvana, and this is 31.5 right now. And come on, 10,000 miles on this, four-door sedan DCT. I think you would enjoy this. I don't know how much you'd get to ring it out. I think it has more power than your commute's going to need, but this is a fun car. It feels like an event. It's got a good front-wheel drive chassis. We recently drove the sister car to this, the i30N in Germany. All the driving we did for the day was, I need to go over here and now I need to go over there. It was no track driving. And I was struck by the fact that that chassis is so rigid and fun in front-wheel drive that it just feels engaging doing the commute kind of stuff.
Just slow speed cruising around was fun.
Yes, just, I got to take this corner real quick. Oh, I got an on-ramp. Okay, this is cool. So I think the Elantra N would work in that regard. Let's give you some other options, though. An 86.
Yeah.
A GR86 or
Always
BRZ. The thing is, this is one of those automatics that the manual is better. But the auto's not bad. I want to hang on to that real quick because you're commuting in it. This does all the things the Miata does, but it's got more usable real-life space. It is small enough, light enough, engaging enough that in traffic, you're going to not feel like you're one of the herd. You're going to feel like, I've got something different and interesting and kind of fun because you don't need a ton of power and performance in traffic. You need engagement for the steering, and this has it.
Yeah.
So 86 is on my list. While I'm here, Mini. Get yourself a Mini. This is just chuckable and fun. The automatic in this is fine. There's no reason to have the manual. The manual's good, but there's nothing wrong with the auto in these. These are fun in auto. So get yourself, I happen to be showing a John Cooper Works right here for $30,900, so $31,000 for a 14,000 mile 2023 Mini hardtop. I mean, this is enough that I looked at it and went, do I need that? I mean,
like, wait a minute.
I don't know why.
Who are we shopping for?
Exactly right. This would be really, really fun. And it's snorty enough at low speeds that it would just feel like I'm having fun in this. So Mini Cooper, again, lightweight. I'm just below 3,000 pounds here. I like all of those very much for you. My wild card is only a wild card because I think it's slightly more sensible than these, but also works.
Okay.
And that is just get yourself a GTI. And I'm actually on purpose showing an older one, a 2018 for $20,000 at 60,000 miles. You could go all the way up to the brand new GTI and it would still do everything I'm talking about. The older ones, you save yourself money and you keep yourself in a land of buttons. That's why I'm showing older.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know that which one's right for you, but I'm showing these options because I want you to see the older versions are still fully viable. The DSG is great. That is the best auto I've shown of all of these, candidly. But I think it would still work. I don't like it as much as some of the others, but I can't ignore it.
Good stuff. Good choices. I like that we aligned on a few things.
Did you? Okay,
Yes.
good. Yeah.
I went looking to expand your Corolla collection.
I wondered about these, yeah.
Because you might think, I can't afford a GR Corolla with an automatic. Yeah, you can. At the very top end of your budget, the core, because most of them are the premium version, they're
Sure,
42, they're a
Yeah.
little bit further outside your budget.
Yep.
But this one I found, the core, 35 grand for an automatic. Yes, I think this would be a lot of fun. And the Corolla is going to be, good on gas mileage. It's going to putter through traffic, but then when you want to get on it and slice and dice, I think this would be great. And I rode with one of our Hooked on Driving coaches who got one of these for just a fun little track car to, get around kind of thing. And he brought it to a track day and he took me around at Thunderhill 5 Mile. That was Craig.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, it's the automatic. Let's see how she'll do. Craig's a fantastic driver.
He's a very good driver,
he
yes.
knows that
Yes, he
track.
does.
He was chucking that thing in. We were like over the curbing and landing.
I love it. It's great.
And it did great. I was very impressed just being in the passenger seat.
Cool.
He's like, yeah, it's my little daily runabout. I got the automatic, but whatever. And we hooned that thing. We
love it.
thrashed.
That's so great.
So it's got to be on your list. Shop wisely, but you can afford to complete your Corolla collection with the pinnacle of GR Corollas of Corollas there. I also thought of Civic Si Base, and it's in your budget. It does everything you want. It's perfect except for manual transmission.
True.
And I think we've decided
it's
manual transmission's a bit out.
That is the easiest manual on the planet to drive in traffic. It truly is. It'd be incredibly easy to drive in traffic. It's a manual.
It's a manual.
Do
but
you
for
want
22 grand, 32,000
Yeah,
miles,
that's great. I like
great
it.
color, fantastic condition, boom. But again, manual. At the same time, I couldn't ignore the Kia K4 hatchback GT line turbo in automatic. There's some shortcomings with this car. Most notably is you have to turn on sport every time you get in because
Immediately.
it'll feel like the gas pedal's not connected to anything.
Yes.
It'll be like the light switch in your house that doesn't do anything. Like, what does this do? Honey,
No idea.
what's this connected to?
Yep.
It does feel a little bit like that, but if you keep it in sport, then the turbo comes on and it's fun and it's interesting, good commuter. It's a different choice, but I think this is pretty cool car. I haven't found that tiger's eye kind of looking orange that we had, but
that yellowy thing, yeah.
but this could be a viable option for $28,000. Talking about electric, pushing on your budget a little bit. These have dropped in price dramatically. The i5N, we've talked about this earlier in the show.
These were 70 new, weren't they?
They were 65 to 70 brand new.
Yeah,
Here's
70
a
grand.
new one with 940 miles for 42.
That is a huge deal.
They might take 41, maybe 40.
Yeah.
Here you go. i5N, great fun. Your commute will be simulated with pops and cracks and bangs and inside the car. I mean, there's speakers in the rear bumper and people can ostensibly hear you, but nobody will be hearing you on their commute. So it'll just be you in the car, upshifting, downshifting, and
Sure, yeah.
You're doing rally mode while you're commuting, and it could be just a load of fun. And these are really interesting. If you're going to consider a performance EV, these are top of my list right now. So interesting price.
I'm surprised by that. That's a heck of a deal on that for sure. Yeah.
There's others that are still a little bit higher used,
for
but
sure. That's good.
on
That's impressive.
Autotempest, set it to lowest price, type in i5N or any of these cars and set it to the lowest price and start there and work your way up to something that you like. But we ended at the same place, almost.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You did a brand new one. Yeah.
I was also thinking of Shane, and he was glowing about how he bombs around DC traffic and doesn't care, and it's just a load of fun. This is the DSG. Yes, definitely newer, so 29 with 9,000 miles, but I do like the exterior styling a lot better. I like the wheels, I like the color. It's just the interior. Can you deal with the interior? So this is the newer version.
Stuff, yeah.
And I just thought, it's not 60,000 miles where the dash lights up like a Christmas tree. It's a little bit lower, so less maintenance at this point, but go beat on this thing. And 30 grand is right in the middle of your budget. So I love all these options. I like the Mini Cooper. That's got to be a consideration.
I think that would be really, really fun as a daily. I really do, yeah.
All of these I think would work, but you've got choices to make, driving to do. Let us know what you end up getting. everydaydrivertv@gmail.com.
The reason cars look great on our show is down to one thing, and that's Griot's Garage. Whether you're a meticulous cleaner like Paul or a quick fumbler like me, Griot's Garage products make it easy.
From foam cannons for touchless shine to headlight fixes, leather care, and even tough track day smudges, Griot's Garage has the right product to keep your car looking concours clean.
Griot's Garage is a family-owned company, and all their products are guaranteed. Plus, all their liquid products are made right here in the USA. They want you to have adventures in your car and fun in your garage getting them clean again. As long-term supporters of this show, Griot's Garage gives you, our audience, at least 10% discount on any purchases with the code DRIVER10.
The only cleaning products we use are the best ones you can buy. Visit griotsgarage.com today.
We've got Elias writing in with a car conclusion. It's been since episode 670. I will admit it, I have no idea what we talked about. I don't know. Thank you for helping us. He was living in rural New York at the time, and he couldn't ride his motorcycle as much as he wanted, but things have changed since then. It's been a few years. He was looking Corvettes, Supras, Lotus Emira, etc., but he has moved back to California, doubled down on his riding obsession. California is a great place to ride a motorcycle, for sure. Bought himself a Ducati Supersport 950S for daily riding. And then he made an adult decision to buy a Ducati Street Fighter V4S for track day. So you've gotten, not only did you lean in, you bought two different motorcycles for different purposes. Wow. He said the idea of a fun car, though, never left his mind. He drove the Supra. He thought it was great, but daily use didn't make sense to him. Drove the C8 Corvette and loved it. Said he couldn't get over how much he loved it. But given garage space, he was like, it's probably not the right choice as his purely fun car. And then he started thinking differently because of your advice.
What did I say?
To look at not even the more extreme or expensive cars, but searching for some statement car or a piece of automotive tech or art that just inspired him. And that got him looking around beyond just sports cars. This is really cool. So 2 days ago, he bought a 2026 Milano White Alfa Romeo Giulio Veloce. Oh, he said he's always had an affection for Alphas since he was a kid. He loves the refreshed Giulia since 2024. It really did it for him. It's not extreme, but it's distinct. You're right, it is. Fun to drive, and considering the low sales in North America, he got himself a unique car for a good deal in the Bay Area. He's beyond happy. You're making a statement, by the way, an Italian statement. You're on Italian bikes or an Italian car. This is design forward. I love this, Elias. This is cool.
As long as you go out to your garage every day when you're going to drive it, you start singing, when the moon hits your eye,
please don't.
Like a big
we should not.
song.
We should, yeah, right. No, but all Italy garage.
Singing an aria and like all these Italian machinery.
I think it's amazing. I thought you were going to say he just needs to walk out there with an espresso and then pick what to drive.
An espresso and a bowl of pasta. And I mean, that would be me. I would love to do that.
You would 100% do that. You would just lean against the door frame with an espresso and a bowl of pasta and pick your Italian transportation.
That sounds amazing.
You would totally do that. Yeah.
I think at some point I need to own a Ferrari. I just think I do. Do I not?
My
I don't know how. I don't know
my
how.
My co-host. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
How is a mystery.
My dear friend Paul. Yes.
But just someday.
Well, okay. So
way out there.
What I think this means is the 928 has to go, which you're going to take a loss on. And you replace it with an older Ferrari that you currently can't afford.
Which I'll take a loss on.
Well, no, I mean, you'll take a loss. Your bank account will take the loss. Yeah. The Ferrari will probably hold its value, but it's going to hurt a lot to get into an old Ferrari.
And
it's going to be a lot of pain. I understand your desire. I just don't know where the cash comes from.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Aaron B. writes to us from Denver. He is the ZHP of fame, notable fame, that he rebuilt the entire gearbox to make it the most amazing transmission ever, and also the red Carrera T in our first Price of Fun film.
Yep.
He generously provided that car. He has been on a few of our trips, and really appreciate you riding, Aaron. Their family hauler, a 2016 XC90, which was bought new, is now gone after 165,000 miles. It's been replaced by a 2026 Rivian R1S Dual Performance Max.
Wow, okay.
It's their family's first EV, mostly a happy leap. The one hiccup was a Rivian adapter it came with won't connect to their Rivian to a Rivian charger, and they discovered this in Hays, Kansas, which turns out to not be a great part for charging EVs, but they had just enough juice to reach a working NACS charger, but now they have the right adapter, so that's solved.
Good,
but it's
good.
Not fun to find that out and discover that.
When you desperately need to fill, for sure, yeah.
The bigger news is they're the owners of a new 2026 Cadillac CT4V Blackwing with a 6-speed manual, replacing that vaunted E46 ZHP. 186,000 miles on that, which he's not casually parting with. He's hoping to sell it to somebody on the EDD Discord so it stays within the community, and I love that.
Because Aaron's a patron. He's hoping to sell it to one of our patrons at patreon.com, and that is a well-known car on our patron group. Also, if you watched our Beartooth road trip piece we released essentially the beginning of this year, that car gets featured. It is an excellent version of an E46. It's the four-door almost M3 with, I'm telling you, it's the perfect BMW gearbox thanks to Aaron.
It's perfect.
So I do hope it goes to somebody in the family, so to speak.
Apparently, I made a comment about the Fiesta ST versus Blackwing piece that I hope GM always decides to build this car or something like it, because if they don't, this car will turn out to be the greatest hits and a moment-in-time car, and Aaron says, here we are.
Yep, that's why they bought it. He's very excited to have it. I'm thrilled for you guys. That's an interesting garage, too. The Rivian R1S and that Cadillac. That's a great pairing. I know he still has his Carrera T, but that's really good.
Nice,
that's a fantastic spread of things. I hope they're all in interesting colors, too. That'd make it even better. You didn't tell us that. But anyway, very cool, Aaron. Love it.
Congratulations.
We always ask for questions on Instagram and Facebook right before we record, so please look for those, and we'd love to actually hear questions from any of you. There's no barricade to getting in and asking us questions. We'd love to hear from you. Ryan said, looking at these pictures you posted of forbidden fruit, he's going to reverse the question. Is there a car made for North America that isn't sold in Europe that we think would be great to have over there? And I have one.
Okay.
GR Corolla.
GR Corolla's up there. You're right.
They should just have it in Europe.
I mean, they have the Yaris.
They have the Yaris, but here's the thing. The Yaris is small. The Yaris is genuinely really small, and it's not a backseat car. And the Corolla, the GR Corolla does not have huge back seats either. But I just feel like that's a car that would sell in volume in Europe, because I think the Yaris is a little niche because it is so small. Who are the people? It's the Fiesta ST buyer. Who are the people buying a subcompact car with a lot of performance? They're out there, but there's not that many. People that might buy, especially now it's offered in auto, a performance version of a usable hatchback. That's a thing we saw all over Europe. The Mini sells like crazy in Europe. There were Minis everywhere.
So do Dacias.
Yes. And the Dacias in every possible form you can imagine. The Duster is practically handed out at the border in some of these countries.
Pretty much.
It's insane. But I really think that the GR Corolla is a sales opportunity in Europe, because it's the right size, it's performance in the right size. I think they just sell.
Kirk Meyer has a bunch of questions on Facebook about the European trip, including American roads we've driven that would be comparable to any of the European roads that we just drove. I think that's got to be saved a little bit for the film.
Yeah.
He asks, were we able to get similar road trip snacks as the road trips as we've done in America? I admit to just buying based on pictures in Romania.
Because I
couldn't understand. And I'm the kind of guy I like fruits and nuts and, little dried fruits and graham crackers and pretzels and things like that. So I was just buying based on photos, and I found delicious snacks, and they were all very tasty. And then we discovered the water with gas versus still water was, I guess, magic and no magic, right?
There was one that translated as magic and no magic. Yeah, that was very funny, yeah.
Bubbles, still water or with gas. And I found that interesting and entertaining.
He also asks, what's the best part of commute driving on a rally? Views only, or can it be as boring as American roads? Kirk, you've nailed it. Here's the reality. If you're driving across a country on their freeway, it's not a whole lot different than U.S. freeways. Here's the difference I will tell you, though. We have so much space here, especially in the West, that you can drive for a half hour and not see a structure. That is not Europe.
True.
There's so much more packed in. The city around you, like the big city, will fade out, but you never really lose structures, farms, the occasional old building. Oh, look, there's a castle. That never completely dies. And the other thing, and we see it a lot in Germany, but you see it a lot of other places. Think about the fact that historically in Europe, they kept having lots of little towns. They would build a church in the middle of the town and a bunch of buildings around it, a bunch of homes around it. And then 5 kilometers down the road, they'd do it again. Because historically, that's where you lived your entire life.
Yeah.
Okay, you went to one of the towns in either direction of you, but there's a lot of history to show that the average person 150 years ago never went more than 100 miles from where they were born. Okay, so we're traveling a lot now. So that's the funny thing about Europe is you never really get away from structures, cities, that kind of stuff. When I say, I should say towns, not cities, towns. Okay, so that's the difference is you never really get to open expanse of nothingness. Like when we've driven across Nevada, and it's like for the next hour, you're not going to see a thing but road.
True.
Tumbleweeds road.
Tumbleweed occasionally.
That's it.
Yeah.
That does not happen in Europe.
Yeah.
So that's the big change. Otherwise, yes, we had commute day. We've got hundreds of kilometers to do. We're going to get on the road that gets us there the fastest, sometimes the toll road, and off we go.
Kirk, I was not able to bring my interior detailing tools to make sure it remained CPO for both of our cars, but I did in Romania. I think it was Oradea. Were we in Oradea?
Possibly. I think right outside, yeah.
And I found a car wash, and it took, you swipe your credit card and then it converts it to tokens that you can then use to do the spray wash. So that was all very normal, but it just kept going. Like once I finished, the timer counted down. I just turned it back to rinse and it just kept going. Like,
yay!
At some point I just walked away. I drove away.
But it guess I'm done now.
The timer, it just reset itself and kept going. It's like, maybe I put in too many tokens or spent too much money. Yep. I don't really know. But
that's still running, by the way. You put in so many euros. It's 24/7 now.
Free soap. I don't know. But we're able to blast them off a little bit. But on the rally and on the giant road trip, having a little bit of filth and dirt is a bit of a badge of honor because it showed how many miles we did, how many kilometers we did, and just kind of showed off what these cars went through and the road trip aspect of it.
I will say you were 100% right because we had a lot of dusty almost rain and a couple of big rains during our first few days.
And that would keep
so the cars got so dusty rainy.
Yeah.
That the end of first week, they didn't look very good. We washed them at the end of first week and had sunny days after that. So then they got normal dirty. There's something about that dusty kind of like you turn down the saturation when you get a car that gets like dusty rained on.
Yeah,
that doesn't
nasty.
Look good. Doesn't look good for camera. So we did get it washed off in actually Timișoara was Romania.
Timișoara, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
which
right.
is a crazy word to say. By the way, there's an S in Romanian that has a little like fingers on the top and bottom that becomes an SH sound, and I don't always do it right. But we're going to fail. I am going to fail spectacularly this entire series in my pronunciation, and that's part of the fun. Anyway, thank you guys for incredible questions, for being with us as always. Keep in mind, if you would like to support this show further, patreon.com. We have a link from our everydaydriver.com website, but you can also just go to Patreon and search for us. That gets you a lot of insider access. It also supports this show, keeps it going. It gives you access to our Discord. And coming up very soon is the first ever of our insider podcasts that are for our middle level $10 and the $20 up level. Those are happening for the first time. That's coming. We're going to do a new podcast, extra podcast about every other month for that level. So that'll be a lot of kind of, as the name suggests, insider stuff only for our patrons and only questions from our patrons. So that's going to be an extra little thing we're doing. Thank you guys for your support there. But even if you aren't a patron supporter, thank you for listening, for watching, for coming to the Hooked on Driving events and just being a part of this community. We are very, very grateful.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't say it better. And we're looking forward to next time as always. Cheers, everyone.